community conversation on Public Health Preparedness Program, hosted by Reverend Daniel H. Lindo. Open discussions and insights on heat warnings and other public health emergencies. Philadelphia Immunization Program, preparing your home for every season. Personal preparedness to stay healthy. Engaging faith-based and community organizations to consider planning for emergencies. This and more is going down and will be discussed live on Island Vybe, Philly Caribbean Station, www.islandvybe.net, every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Purchase your tracks today.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. It's bright, it's sunny, it's beautiful, right?
It is.
Welcome to Community Health. I'm your host, Tom Wilson, alongside Reverend Daniel this evening. Reverend Daniel, how are you feeling today?
It's warm. It's nice weather. Good to be there. It was a little bit drifting, but better. Wherever you are tonight, coming our way, we coming your way. We are exceedingly glad that you having a companion with us tonight. In the next couple of minutes, that you will be our special host here on Community Health Talks, where we meet, discuss issues that surround our community, particularly the Southwest Philadelphia, and particularly talking to our own immigrant community. And so we are exceedingly happy that we can have this conversation. We come from you to you right here at Rising Hope for Change, and we are partnering here with Island Vybe, Philly Caribbean Station, a community radio or online platform that have been helping and really making way for our community to get access to information, and we want to thank them specially. But also, this program will not be effective or even coming to you today had it not been the support of the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. And so we want to thank the city for the opportunity giving us to be able to share information to our own community, to our own people, just sharing things that maybe someone could overlook, but these are very important issues, particularly talking about hazard preparedness, talking about things you need to prepare ahead of time. But thank you for being there, and we're looking forward to having a fruitful conversation. But also, one thing you can be assured is that tonight's talk is going to be informative, and so we are looking forward to that, and we are excited about that. And thank you, Ms. Wilson.
No, thank you guys for having us on and letting us be a part of this program. It's very important for our community to be able to be in touch this way, have access to each other, and just things that you may not be thinking of. We all, immigrate here from other countries. And, for some people who are new and having a hard time, not really a hard time, but needs to learn the ropes, per se. And even for veterans who's been here, like I've been in the States now for 12 years, we've gotten along, but we're still learning as we go. So for us to be able to have these conversations and support each other is important.
That's right. Very important. And supporting each other. And that's the main reason why Rising Up for Change is in the community, to ensure that that supporting each other can be present. And you can directly come reach us. You can also contact us whenever that need. When you feel like you're getting to be alone, you feel like you need to talk to someone, you feel like you want to share something, you can rest assured Rising Up for Change is there to give you hope, and it's there to be able to inspire you back to your vision and dreams and aspirations. So tonight, we want to spend some time helping our community discussing, and we invite you as we discussing these questions or talking about the issues in our community. We invite you to participate, and you can participate by putting your comment into the comment section. Your questions, you can drop them there. You can participate by, yes, giving us feedback or how much, how well you think this program is making impact into your neighborhood, in your community as well. And so we come to you to say, participate. This is your program. This is all of us program. Don't be idle into it. Take it back. All right. We want to talk about mhm.
Go ahead.
No, I wanted to talk about. Yes, go ahead.
One of the main things we want to talk about today is, of course, we've been talking about preparedness in each season. We also want to talk about asthma. We're going into the spring where allergies. If you suffer from allergies, you know spring is the season for flare-ups. Most of our stuff most of your flare-ups is going to happen in the spring, introducing new pollen. The trees are growing back, all of that stuff happens in spring. So we wanted to talk about a little of that, and we definitely need to talk about asthma. What is asthma? How to prevent a flare-up or an attack? How to, the things that you can do in your home. If you see somebody
Yeah, so basically, talking about asthma, and which is something we want to start with tonight. We want to talk about asthma, particularly people that are suffering, who are asthmatic patient. And so let's talk about some of the triggers that kind of contribute to someone really coming down with the becoming asthmatic, right? So let me ask a question. What you think are some common triggers for asthma exacerbation? In other words, during the spring, the weather change, what are some of those things that asthmatic patients need to be aware of? They need to be concerned about? What are some of those things, if you don't mind, if you got a thought on that you think
one of the most
asthma?
I think first and foremost, if you are asthmatic, you definitely need to always walk with your EpiPen.
Okay.
Your pen, your EpiPen.
Okay.
Because it's along with an allergic attack as well. You need to, there are triggers like pollen. Sometimes you don't even know that your triggers are around to say you could prevent them. So you definitely need to work with something if you do have an emergency flare up to be able to survive it. I think it's very important. Like, don't, if you need to have it on you and you have severe asthma, don't leave it in the car and walk out because you're going right there. Just always have it on you. The day you don't have it is the day you're gonna need it.
Exactly. The day you don't have it. That's a key word. It could be the day you are going to need it.
Just
So
always walk with it. Don't, oh, I'm just going to stop for a quick to come back. Like, you don't know what dust, you don't know what pollen, you don't know what's in that store. Always walk with it in case of emergencies. And who knows, maybe you walk with it and save somebody else's life.
yeah, always walk with it. That's very, very important for us. For anyone who be asthmatic person, make sure you walk with all your health tools. All right.
All your health tools.
And yeah,
Your inhaler, always like.
inhaler, right? Walk with it. Mm-hmm. And talking about some of those triggers, I would love to point out, in addition to what you mentioned, Ms. Wilson, I would love to point out that during this spring, all asthmatic patients must be aware of the pollination of flowers, right? Flowers are blooming now, and so they're going to give out enough scent. You know, asthmatic patients, they don't want to smell some foreign thing. And so you want to be sure that you are not too much getting around flowers. And probably one thing that you need to be advised, I don't know how well asthmatic patients are confident with using face masks, right? So that they will avoid the heavy smell of blooming flowers. So also make sure that when you are outdoor, when you're walking, whatever you're playing, whatever you're having time, be aware of the air pollution that may take place. Just because the season has changed and so forth, you want to be aware of the air pollution. Now, another thing you need to be aware is the mold. Okay, mold spores. Okay.
And we
So
all of us need to be very aware of that.
yes, everyone be aware of that. And of course, we're not limiting the conversation to asthmatic patients, no, but we are speaking also to the general public. Especially, we want to talk to our immigrant community.
Mm-hmm.
Want to point out to you, we love to overlook things. Do not overlook it. Do not overlook it.
This
Make
is
sure.
a general emergency warning as well. Know where your hospitals are. It's funny because my son went to the emergency room when he was 2 months old. It cost us, I think it cost us, that ride cost us $1,800. We should have caught an Uber. But just because we didn't realize that our hospital that's right around the corner from us did not take children because there was no pediatric doctor there. Be aware of because you don't know what could happen. This is general asthmatic, everybody. Be aware of what hospitals are around you, and if you have kids, whether they have a pediatric ward or not, or whether they serve that, so if you do have an emergency, where you're going, where you're heading.
So be aware of, let's say, just if you don't have, just make sure you have, areas you take your treatment, right? Which is the closest.
Make sure you have at least one emergency room programmed into your phone. At least one in your area, because sometimes it's much easier if you have the child or whatever to get in the car and go there. And if it's already in your GPS, it's just press and go as an emergency versus having to look. Sometimes they don't really give you the closest one to you. Sometimes you never know what's going to happen with technology. So I say, prepare that ahead of time. You know where you're going. You know who they're taking. Like, you know all of that already.
Prepare
and again, you never value it more than when you need it.
That's right. So, next question. Welcome, Kevin.
Hi, Ms. Kevin.
Hi, Ms. Wilson. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, how can people with asthma basically ensure they have an adequate supply of their own medication during the spring? How can they ensure that during the spring they have adequate supply of their medical kits, medical supplies? How
Even
can they ensure that happens?
you definitely, if you are an asthmatic patient, it's springtime, you definitely need a general checkup from your primary care doctor. Like whether you think you have enough medication left over from last year, whatever you have, you definitely need a current checkup. Like I would do that I would do that every springtime because this is the season for flare-ups, for attacks. So you definitely want to hit them up. Make sure that your prescriptions are current. Check the dates on them. Some people have asthma but have never really needed their inhaler. So you have it in your bag and you don't know if it's expired or not.
So making sure that the first thing they should do is to check with their physician, right? Checking with their
Make sure your
primary health.
medication is current. You've had it for a while. Thank God you haven't had a flare up last year, but you want to make sure that the expiration date on your prescription on the inhaler itself isn't passed. So that when you do need it, it's there and it's current.
All right, so you hear it right there. You hear it right there wherever you're hearing us. If you are asthmatic patient, you suffer asthma. Maybe you don't even know you have asthma. All right, the first thing you want to know when strengthening, especially for people that don't know they have asthma, is to ensure you work closely with your healthcare provider. All right. Now, let me talk to our community, our immigrant community. We love to overlook things. We always love to say, well, I don't need a doctor. When I get sick, I go to the hospital. Don't wait to get sick before you get to the hospital. Get a doctor today. Now,
Prevention.
come to think about it, you working 24 hours, 16 hours a clock. You pay medical bill. You on that group insurance. Oh yeah, you don't go for checkup. They just deducting your pay check, and so take 1 day off, my people. Take 1 day off.
It's
Go
not
see
even that. Like
doctor.
my uncle used to say, if you go to the doctor, they're going to tell you something is wrong with you.
Yes. Now that's the thing. That's our typical people, immigrant community. Please, my people, we love to work. Thank you for hard work. Double, 16, 16. Very good. But please, some of us, we don't go for a vacation. The company will take some of our days because some company then the weekend when you didn't spend the vacation, as soon as December 31st come, they say you forfeit it. All right.
Yeah,
please.
and even the ones who don't forfeit it try and exchange it for more money.
Some people, some company, they don't give money. You say if you don't take it or you lose it.
Take your vacations. Take personal days.
Take a day. They call it a personal time off. Take your personal time off, your PTO, personal time off. Take it and go see your doctor. After all the deducting money from your paycheck for that insurance. All right, so go see your doctor, go see your eye doctor, go see your teeth doctor.
And there are places, if you Google it, there are places, especially for older folks, you could go and get a general checkup. Like just a general checkup, check your EKG. Am I saying that correctly? I hope I am. You could go get everything checked up, and just to make sure, especially if you have asthma, make sure. Asthma doesn't just affect your breathing. If you have asthma, like I looked up today, you are subjected to get a heart attack because that type of stress that your body goes under, if you have asthma, you could also get a heart attack. You could get a stroke because the stress on your body could put other stuff into motion. So if you have asthma and you're worried about your asthma and you did get checked for that, you still want to go get your heart checked. You want to make sure your circulation as well. You want to make sure all of that happens so that if you do get an attack, you don't get a second ailment on top of that.
That's right. All right. So make sure you got your medical supply, your kids see by working closely with your healthcare provider, your doctor. Work with your doctor to ensure you got all the things you need to keep you moving healthily. That includes Miss Wilson talk about that, right? Inhaler, trying to make sure you always move with that. All right, control medication. Uh,
And if you
ensure
are on
always.
prescription medication, take it every day because some asthmatic patients are on regulated medication every day. And just because you haven't had a flare up in a long time, that doesn't mean you need to stop taking your medication.
Now, another thing maybe I want to throw in there before I forget is make sure that you talk with your doctor to refill the order so that it don't just become one-time order and then you took your last dose and you don't have it before you made arrangement with the doctor to get that. You are out of medication. So make sure you always talk with your doctor. And that's the reason you need to see your doctor because the doctor will determine whether you need to he or she need to refill your medication, so that you
Or
don't run
change it.
out or change it, That's
Up
right.
your dosage, lower your dosage. Like you really need to get checked up. It's gonna be hard. You working all year, making all that money, and then you get sick for 2 months and have to spend it all back in doctor bills.
Right. And then there is something that I came across that it's called a peak flow meter. Asthma patients can use to check their numbers. It comes in very, very handy. What this does is it's a device that helps to track your lungs, how it's functioning, how's your breathing, and everything's going. So it has the green, it has orange, it has red, um similar to that of the street light. So when you start to check it, green means that you clear, that is you are 80 to 100% of your usual peak flow. I'm sorry about that. And then
I'm so sorry because you're saying that, and I'm thinking when you see green, just go. You could go outside.
yeah, so yellow means you between anywhere ranging from 50 to 80 or from 80 to 50. And then when you get the red, that means you less than 50%, which is alarming. So that way you know that asthma
That's
attack is
measuring
right
your
in the
oxygen
bloodline.
intake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So please, my people, y'all, please do that. Do that. Don't forfeit your days. Okay?
And
Do
if you're
that.
not a person that, if for example I don't drive, and if you're that person and you can't afford, not afford, but it's difficult for you to go pick up your prescriptions every month or whatever, there is delivery services. Like there's modern things, especially since COVID, that they put in place that we have no excuses. Like you could get your prescription delivered to your house. There
Right.
is, unlike doctors that you could see, you could do a tele-appointment. Like it's that serious that they would make, arrangements for you to go do your blood work somewhere, but you see the doctor like that. There is so much that we could do and so much services that we could utilize to make our life easier. Because a lot of times people don't just not go to the doctor or pick up their prescription because they feel like it's inconvenient to their lifestyle. So we might just want to, use those tools that they've put in place to make it easier for us.
Okay.
That's true.
So what are some of those things that asthma patient can include in their preparedness during the spring that we're in? What are some of those things they need to include in their spring preparedness as they get out there, as they try to do normal life, everyday life? What are some of those things you think they can prepare for during the spring? They can include in their emergency plan. Anybody got thought?
We definitely want to make sure that all the filters on our air purifiers, our AC units, our heating systems, make sure all your filters are up to date and checked and changed. Because we forget to check our filters, clean them out, make sure everything is operated, because we're about to open windows and doors and all the dust from the outside is coming in, not to mention the air that we've been breathing all winter. So making sure that all our filters, all everything that we breathe is up to date, they're new, they're changed, or they're washed.
That's right. Kevin?
So I would say you should identify. I know Akim that you should always identify your triggers and try to avoid them as much as possible. And we just talk about medication. Make sure you take your prescribed medication, and also make sure you stay up to date with your vaccination, because asthma is a respiratory something, and you also want to you want to make sure that you're up to date with your vaccination, so other things does not interfere or increase your asthma and makes it even worse. So you want to make sure you watch out for your triggers, stay away from them as much as you can. Like Miss Storm just said, like purifier and all of that, humidifier, having them in your house, making sure that the place is clean from dust, mice, and pollen animals, mold, and all of those stuff. You want to make sure that you take into consideration all of those.
You also
Awesome.
really want to check the pollen count before you go outside if that's one of your triggers. And
Yeah.
it's available on the internet. Just check pollen count today and put your area in. It's super simple.
So the key word is check your triggers. What are those things that bring the asthma inside of you more, right? What are those things that kill your spirit or that maybe make you abnormal as asthmatic patient? That's fascinating to learn. And we want to encourage you, our viewers, to take note and take part of this, because this is about your health. You got to take your health into your own hands to be able to achieve that goal, that dream that you are having. Very important.
Sometimes I've read today, and I didn't think about this, that stress sometimes bring on an asthma attack. So if you like, you need to keep your stress levels down. We talk about mental health here all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we just got a few minutes to transition into mental health again. Because it's breaking our society.
Maybe we need to take our break right now, and then we can segue into mental health. What do you guys think?
All right. Let's take a 3-minute break.
Guys, again, this is Community Health with Reverend Daniel. I'm Storm Wilson. This is Island Vibes Radio. They are coming to us from Rising Hope for Change, and we are sponsored by the City of Philadelphia's Health Department.
Thank you.
Broadcasting live from Philadelphia, Island Vibe, Philly's newest and hottest station.
You're listening to IslandVibes.net. All your hits banging right here. Philly #1 Caribbean station. Best in dance-off.
Undisputed champion. Heavyweight, world great. At the Met Gaza celebrate.
Call the Uber. Call the Uber now. I am coming to ya.
Reggaeton.
Algunos parecen todavía viven en el siglo de la hombría, que esta regla es solo para ellos y que para tu hombre te maquilla.
Love in my heart, rum in the veins. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again. I so love my rum. Bring an next bottle again.
And more. IslandVibes.net.
Greedy with another man. We are the island. I tell you I'm good boy. Tell you I'm good boy. So pray for me. If I don't come home in the morning, just know that I say it's not in my place. But this man's of a hole on me. I can leave. Hunter
Hi,
Welcome back
everybody.
again.
we gotta talk about who's introducing ahead of time. Go ahead, Pastor.
Well, I just wanted to say welcome back again. We having real good timing on this community health talk, talking to our own people. And so we welcome you. This is Rising Up for Change. Tonight we are here and we are right there in your company. This program would not have been really possible had it not been the support of the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. And we come from Rising Up for Change in partnership with Island Vybe, Philly Caribbean Station. And my name is Pastor Lende, and we have Miss Kebe and Miss Wilson. Nice Smith coming again. Now, we were talking prior to the short break, we're talking about asthma, and so we want to shift gear. But before we do that, I wanted to make sure that we can provide some pathway to our listeners and those that will be coming across us. What do you think people asthma? What's their self-care? What are some of the best practices, self-care practices that people with asthma can really implement to support their own mental, maybe well-being from the asthma condition?
Well, from what I've read today, most people have a routine, like their bedtime routine. They have to sleep with a humidifier with an essential oil in it, and that helps, like a peppermint.
Okay, having a humidifier with them.
Let me fix.
Right. To maintain their to sleep at night, to maintain their airways. Have pure air purifiers in your home, the good ones, not just the ones that say they purify with a filter, the ones that have the UV light and kills the bad bacteria and stuff like that. To have one of those in your home is super important.
Very good.
Have a scheduled date with your doctor. You see him every 2 months or every 3 months, depending on what's going on with you. Don't wait for an attack or a flare up to decide you're going to make an appointment.
Okay. All right. Well, that was good. Kebe, you want to add something before you move or transition to mental health?
Yeah, just basically what she was saying. You have to have a plan, and one thing to add to your plan is having an emergency contact in case of emergency. Know your peak flow, your measurements, and everything. Make sure you take your meds. Have easy access to them. And we also talk about the triggers. You also want to know your signs. That is, whenever you're having an attack, the signs that you experience. So all of these want to make sure that they are checked. So just in case you start to experience anything, you already know what next to do.
Very good. Knowing what next to do, very important. Yes. Very good. And there you have it, our people. There you have it. Knowing the triggers, knowing what to do, making sure that you are aware of those things that makes you feel uncomfortable. Those things that really raises your asthma high and take off your time from important things. Make sure you are aware of it. And that's why before we went for the break, that's why we talk about you finding time and making a priority going to see your personal, your provider,
your primary healthcare physician,
primary healthcare physician, or your doctor. In our community, we say, I go and see my doctor. Go see your doctor. Make time and see your doctor. All right. That's what we want to talk about more. And so, because the better you see your doctor, the easier it becomes for your doctor to tell you, you got this, or you are okay, or watch out for this, right? So that's why you need to see your doctor. Yes. All right. So talking about mental health, what comes generally when we talk about, especially in our immigrant community, these are things that we don't discuss that much back home, because when we talk about mental health in our immigrant community back home in Africa, we talk about people that are crazy, people that are mad, and people that are insane and so forth. here, mental health is normal people thing. All right. So talking about that, what kind of
I
things
think
you want
it's
to share?
normal people thing everywhere. We just we just don't accept it.
Right?
And I think part of it is too, I was talking to a friend of mine and we were just talking about it. Part of it too is in certain communities like ours, we revere our elders, right? So if our elder have an idea that, you know, mental health is only for crazy people, we tend to go along with that. And we need to find a way to be able to respect our elders and still introduce new things as we go along. Because I never thought of it that way, but he mentioned it, like older people think that healthcare is, mental health is because kids are too soft today. Like they say that a lot, like you guys have it too easy. What if you what if you grew up in when I grew up, and if you had to do this, like my mom always talk about, you know, filling water because they didn't have pipes available, like they didn't have running water. So she always had to tote water and stuff like that. So she always talked about, what if you guys have to, we call it in Trinidad, we call toting water, like carry water home. What if you had to tote water? So they think that, so they tend to use this term, you kids are too soft today, you need to toughen up, not that you need to take care of your mental health. And I, you know, just keeping in mind that you don't ever want to be disrespectful to your elders, but understand that they came from a different time when that is what the popular opinion was. And that doesn't mean we have to believe that.
Wow. We have to believe it. What do you think, Kevin?
Well, like you said, in our area, once you talk about mental health, most people who are not knowledgeable on it, they feel that it's something that has to do with crazy people. But it's not. Mental health is actually so broad, in as much as some of it mental health situations are generic, which means it can, and there are severities to it. Some of it are very mild and some are very, very, very not easy to deal with. It becomes like a severe disorder. So there are different stages. It's a wide topic. It has a lot of things to target. So like we always say, like we said in our previous meeting, you want to check to know exactly where you are. And we're just talking about checking in with your doctors and all of that, so that that way they can be able to give you a final determination on what exactly is going on with you and at what stage you are or what exactly it is. So mental health, it basically affects almost all part of your body, basically because it has to do with your mind, how you think, it has to do with how you feel, it has to do with how you react, you know. So it's a whole body thing. Even though we say better, but a lot of things too that goes on in our body, in our lives, it starts from up here too. So that is something that you want to make sure you take control of.
Yeah, you definitely, when you feel better, you do better and you are better. And you could, you know, when you feel better, you are a more loving person to everybody else because you can afford to be, you know, like your cup is not empty.
Right.
You can afford to give, and we take for granted that we have to take care of ourselves. Like we talked about it earlier, you know, you don't take vacations. Reverend, you're an example of that.
Yeah, because you see,
it's not just
especially
your job,
when
like
you are a
like
solo
people need
pastor,
you.
right?
Like you feel like people need you, and you feel the day you go is when everything is going to fall down. You want to keep, you know, you want to keep everybody, you so think about everybody else's well-being and happiness above your own, because you know some of us are trained that way, that's some of our calling. But it's like the flight attendants say, you have to put on your mask before you could put on anybody else's, including your children. So you have to take care of yourself.
Hear you, and I understand that completely, which is so true, because our mental health being is it leads us to becoming more productive, right? Becoming more productive, and that's very important. So that brings to mind as we consider, because one thing that I've realized is that, especially for our community here, we begin to worry as soon as this season is changing. we begin to worry. Oh, winter is coming. Oh, spring is here. Oh, there are some of them will get excited, right? Some of them will begin to worry because of what it brings about. So the question really is, how can people recognize the impact of every season, especially the changes that each of the season bring, and in our mental in our own mental health? How does that impact our mental health? Like during the season, like, okay, spring came, winter is ending. There are people that already got glued to the winter, and now spring. Some people like flowers, it detain their yards,
And then for
and
some people, it's down because if you have asthma, then spring is not your season. So
all right, we just talk about asthma, yeah.
Right.
So it does depend on your and it's your mindset as well. And I think we forget that. Like our health comes from our mind. Like when you feel drained, I always say this, when you feel drained mentally, your whole body feels tired. But if your body is tired, you could still go and do something mentally. But when you're mentally drained, everything is exhausting. Everything. You think about everything. Like just waking up in the morning, oh my God, I gotta wake up. When you're mentally drained, you really need to rejuvenate yourself. Sometimes you're taking on a problem that's not even such a big issue in the grand scheme of things, but it's the thing that's in front of you right now, and you take that on. And sometimes just being able to talk to someone helps that, or being able to go outside and then take a day off and enjoy it. Then your mindset is different, so you could tackle that problem from a different point of view. You just sometimes need to get out of your own head. And I know that's easier said than done for people. Like, I'm a warrior, so it's it's hard to say, oh, I'm going to get out of my own head, but it's something you really need to do. Like, have you ever gone for just a walk, fresh air, not take on anybody, you just needed to go for a walk, and you did, and after half an hour, your whole head space is clear.
Yeah.
So mental health, I don't think it necessarily has to be, you go and seek a professional. It doesn't always have to be that. A lot of times it's just us taking care of ourselves.
Realizing that something's going wrong and you need to focus more on yourself. You need to put it in check right away so it doesn't reach to the point where you have to seek professional help.
And if you do, there's no stigma with that either. If you do it, there's no stigma. But this idea that mental health always has to involve a professional, it doesn't always have to.
So if I hear you, if I hear you both, the central message here will be people need to ensure that they pay keen attention in terms of the activities they do for every change in terms of the mood. For example, during winter, what do you love to do, right? And then during spring, what do you love to do? So that by the time that season is about to take place, what happens? You begin to create that momentum inside of you. I'm excited. I'm about to get into this, right?
Right.
So that special energy level of for that season. For example, now instead of maybe sleeping all the way to maybe certain time, you're gonna see sun shooting through your window, right? You're gonna see sun. I remember when spring started, no, when we had a change of time, right? When the time changed, so I woke up my son to go say no, that he looked through the window and said no. He said it's still so it's still soon. So he went back. I said, but son, the time changed. I said, look at the clock. Look at the clock. All right. And then he's reluctantly like waking. So you could see that affected him, that waking up, he thinks that, when he's usually wake up, lies down, he looks through the window, he sees some kind of daylight, right? Then he knows that. But this day he's sleeping, it's already going to 7 o'clock and it's still dark. When the time change newly like that, right? It's still dark, and then he said no, and then he's forcing himself to go back to bed. So people need to ensure, and I think that's what I heard the unifying message from you both to say people need to pay attention to those changes, right? Because the changes got something to do with your mental being. It got something to do with your mental being. And in the past weeks, we've been talking about sleep disorders or sleep patterns. We'll talk about all of those. But most importantly, the stress level that those these changes bring is something that we need to ensure that we can manage, right? And to managing them, we need to ensure that we can adequately prepare mentally about that.
Like,
that we prepare mentally about it.
Like something like my neighbor today pulled out his barbecue. I'm like, what are you doing? Right on the walkway between us. Like, no yard, nothing yet. Just right on the walkway between us. He's barbecuing and he's so happy. Like, so happy. He looks like he's been waiting for it to get a little warm to be able to do it. You know, something like that, you know, to look forward to something like that would be amazing.
Yeah.
Something that simple. And we take for granted little moments like that because we're so absorbed into the day-to-day and the stuff that we deem more important. But I think if we put it on our scale that our happiness is just as important as other things, our kids' happiness is as important as their education, like that type of stuff, if we put it on a priority list, I feel we'll get it done. We'll work towards it. Like, for example, Pastor, if you put
Put me on the spot. Put me on the spot.
If you put getting a vacation of the year and put it on the calendar, you're gonna take it.
That's right.
You
Put it on the calendar and always remind yourself.
And you're just looking at that date. Oh my God, I can't wait for December 10th. Like, even in September, oh my God, December 10th is coming. You're not thinking, well, winter is coming. You're thinking vacation is coming.
Right.
And
that's
then,
right.
So we need sometimes to trick ourselves that way.
That's right. So also things that are associated to that affect our mental health being or our mental being is stress, right? And we were talking about people worrying, the anxiety, the kind of things that make you stressful. So how can we manage stress that is associated with the change of season, or that is associated with the weather, maybe even just the seasonal change, right? How can we manage the stress that comes along with it? And particularly like now we just changed one. In fact, we changed two important time change. Then we move from winter to spring. And now in the next 2 months, we'll be preparing to shift gears again, and so forth. And just imagine, like, now what will happen is people will be excited to the point like they forget that maybe sometime weather will drop. That stress that come along, how can we manage it so that we can improve our mental well-being?
So I would say unless that stress is something that has to do with some medical condition that you might need, because there's some people suffer from anxiety, that they have to take medications for. So unless it's something like that you have to be on medication or seek professional help for, I'll ask myself why, like try to revisit certain things and ask yourself questions. Okay, I'm stressed about XYZ. Maybe I'm stressed that we leave in spring and we enter into summer. So why am I stressed? Okay, maybe because summer is too hot. Okay, so summer is so hot, and then what? What happens that summer is so hot? Oh, I'm gonna get irritated. I cannot stand the heat. If you don't stand the heat, what happens? Do you pass out when you get too hot? Or do you not, or you just cannot stand the heat, and then if it's not something so severe that okay, I just don't feel comfortable with the heat, so what can I do? So instead of sitting and worrying and stressing, which doesn't help and just makes matter worse, you try to go down to the to see if you can find the solution to things that you are able to take care of. okay, maybe I can make sure I have my AC and everything prepared for the summer. If I'm driving, make sure that all my air conditioning system in the car is working. I make sure that I have enough gas so that I can turn on the AC.
Hold on right there.
Right.
Did anybody use air condition? Maybe yesterday, today? All right, you did. Imagine in the last how many months that you just having heat on in your car. And today you were forced to, maybe if you ever drove in the afternoon or this evening, you were forced to say, I can't just keep, because the car itself is already hot in there. See,
Right.
even if it's, for a couple of minutes, you have to turn it. So imagine that. All right, how much that play a role with stress and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you try to turn it on and you have forgotten your own car, how to operate your own car. If you got some kind of car, you forgot how to operate your own car. How much that stress really impact you when you're in your car sweating, you're driving. You don't want other people to know that your car is this. Years back, when we came here, I used to have a car that never had AC at all. So
this started to sound like it's your story,
what's that?
So you sound very passionate. It sounds like this is your story.
Well, everybody got American story, right?
No, but I get you. Like you
Everybody got American story. You imagine that?
Yeah, it's one of those things where like Ms. Kebe said, if you examine why you're stressed, maybe you could prepare for it. For example, some people are stressed because the kids are going to be out of school. They need to figure out what to do with their kids for the summer. There's different level, there's different things, but if you prepare for it,
Right.
I think it's gonna it may not erase all of it, but it's definitely going to help minimize it. Now, it could also be like if you don't financially have the funds to put your children in summer camp, you're really thinking about what can I do this summer for the kids. So some stresses we can't avoid. Some of it we could prepare for, but some of it we can't avoid. Like, for example, today, if your car didn't have AC, you just out of luck. You just out a lot. So I think it's also try to do a mindset change and reach out to people. Like, you never know. Google it, free summer camp. Like, try to help yourself. And if you can't understand, like, as corny, and I know it's corny because I've said it's corny, say I can only do this affect the things that I can change, and everything else I have to let go. Like, you need to really tell yourself that, like, I cannot fix everything, and mean it when you say that to yourself. Because there are some things that you cannot prep for, some things you cannot, plan for. There are some things that you can't avoid. And you need to understand within yourself you cannot do it. And if it's to the point where you really need to talk to somebody, there is people available. There's hotlines all the time. There is reach out to friends and family. You never know how much people love you until you need it.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
You never know. Sometimes, start a daycare in your community. Say, hey, we all have kids out this summer. We may not be able to afford, rotate parents. Who's watching the kids? Like, there's ways to get around stuff. And if you can't understand, it's not something that you can control. Like, just ease up.
Speaking about something that you cannot control, like stressing over the change of weather or the change of season. Like, how can you control that? I don't care how much you stress. Summer's gonna come. I don't care how much you stress. Fall is gonna come. I don't care how much you stress. Winter is gonna come. So is that stress gonna help you in any way, manner, or form? No.
Yeah, but in addition to that, I think one way or a few other ways we can manage our stress is, in the midst of it, just stand, take a pause, take a deep breath, right?
Yeah, if you are religious, say God is in control. If you are not, just say Nam Myoho Renge Kyo.
Right? All right. So setting up some boundaries for yourself will also help, right? Making sure that you avoid getting overwhelmed. And most important, what you can handle, no need to worry about it. So leave it because you can handle it even if you worry it's not going to change or make any difference. So another part of that will be to help to prioritize our own tasks, and where necessary, we need to dedicate tasks to people, things that you think other people can jump in for them to do for you rather than you doing them. You want to do that because all of those it helps to neutralize your stress level and kind of make you stable, right? And that's very important.
Like I have to clean up my house, I might have a cleaning party. I'm not going to, I'm just joking. But I mean, like, you do something else. Like, I was a little overwhelmed. Like, how am I gonna clean up this whole house? My son is up most of the time. It's like, I think this is the first spring I'm going to where I have to think about that. Like, cause you know, we always clear out the whole house, do everything before you open the windows and stuff. And I just said, you know what? It may not be like the years before. I'm just gonna do one room at a time. One room every week. It's gonna be done. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't take me a whole week to do a room, but I figured if you don't start, it's not gonna get done. Just one room a week, full cleaning, mopping, scrubbing, wiping, all like everything. And I have found that like lessened my anxiety because just thinking about doing it was more stressful than doing it. And sometimes you find that sometimes it's more stressful just to think about something than to do it. And break it down small. Like mental health is so important, and there's so much stigma around it because you do hear, oh, you're lazy. Oh, the most popular one I had is like, what if you had 10 kids? What would you do? People
that's true.
People say stuff like that all the time, and you gotta woosah. You gotta say, hey, I don't have 10 kids. I have one that feel like 10, so I won't take my time.
Do it at your own pace. I mean, just the other day, like we're talking about stress, there are a lot of things, like simple things that stress people out. The other day, my cousin and myself were having a conversation. He was saying, his family just came and he was saying, I can't believe how hard it is to do laundry. It's so difficult. I can only imagine. So I'm like, for me, when I do my laundry, I do not rush to pack them at all. I take my time and do it at my own pace. Because for me, that's like the hardest part in doing laundry, taking them and putting them where they belong. For other people, taking the dirty laundry to the laundry room or wherever is the hardest part for them. To get them arranged is easier. So I mean, whatever works for you, just get it done. Do it at your own pace, as long as it's not going to stress you. You're not going to allow it to stress you or to get to your mental health.
Yeah,
well, thank you. Okay.
It's like, yeah, small things. Like when you really break down, like, I don't want to sound cavalier, but the truth is, there are major problems in this world. Most of the things that we stress out about is not.
Right.
That's
and
right.
we gotta
That's
put
true.
that in perspective. Me mad about, maybe somebody come and not see my house clean or something. On the grand scheme of things in this world, like that is minuscule.
Well, thank you so much, friends. Thank you for being there with us tonight, wherever you have been with us, wherever you come across us. Want to thank you for keeping company with us tonight, talking about community health and how we will stay healthy. But preparing for health hazard is something that we should all show interest in. And tonight, it's been a wonderful time talking about these things that affect our community, particularly immigrant community. And every one of us living, especially in the Southwest Philadelphia, want to stay healthy, want to stay mentally fit. So tonight we talk about asthma and we talk about mental health, how those affect. Though we are not experts, though we are not clinicians, we are not, medical practitioners, but we have information that we can share. And we are glad that we discussed this information tonight with you. And we hope that it's been helpful. We're right above our time now, so we want to kind of give our parting comments for tonight while we also create space for next week. So what are your parting comments for tonight?
Good night.
Mm-hmm.
That was a short one.
That was like, she was waiting for that.
Well, thanks for tuning in with
I'm
us
joking.
tonight. If you're gonna watch us later, thanks for watching along. We hope that you can always join us and try to be a part of this conversation. This has been a good evening, and do have a great night.
I was
Thank you
joking. I would
again.
like to. Sorry. I
Right,
would like.
right.
No, I would like to say on behalf of Island Vibes, we really appreciate the love and support we get from our listeners and our viewers. We see the playbacks, we see the comments at the end of it because most people watch it after. So we really appreciate you guys and thank you guys for coming back over and over. We want to say we do have our second annual Caribbean cookout, the cuisine. It's on the 11th of August. And it's where, people get tents and they cook different types of food from the Caribbean, like black food, basically. And it's amazing. Like it's, last year we had 14 vendors. Ian would correct me if I'm wrong. Different types of food you try, and we ask you guys to come out again. We'll be playing the flyer on the station, so look out for that. But we have that coming up. We also have our annual kids charity coming up, so we haven't set a date for that yet. So as soon as we have it, we'll let you guys know, but please look out for it and ask us about it.
And that is the final amen behind you right there.
I'm sorry.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Miss Wilson. Thank you, Miss Kevin. Thank you for being in our company tonight. And again, we come from Rising Up for Change. We are situated right at 28 South 58th Street, right here in Philadelphia, the zip code 99143. And of course, you can also locate us at 3 Chester Pike, Derby, P 19023. And so this program is being sponsored by the Department of Health, Philadelphia Department of Health, Public Health, and we are very, very grateful to them for the support given. And so we want to thank our partner here, Island Vybe, Philly Caribbean Station. Thank you for being there tonight, and we love you. Shalom.
Thank you. Bye.
Right.
Rising Up for Change presents a community conversation on public health preparedness program hosted by Reverend Daniel H. Lindo. Open discussions and insights on heat warnings and other public health emergencies. Philadelphia immunization program, preparing your home for every season. Personal preparedness to stay healthy, engaging faith-based and community organizations to consider planning